Hey everybody, I'm Belinda Sandor, also known as Rocket Girl. Welcome to today's show. We're going to talk about the importance of routine. Welcome everybody to the Rocket Girl Show. I'm thrilled you're here. For those of you joining us for the first time, I'm Belinda Sandor. I'm the founder of the VA Connection, where I coach and mentor established and aspiring virtual assistants to create, grow, and scale businesses being VAs. And I work with my students in my free online classroom, my community, my courses, and my coaching programs. And today I'm going to be your host for the Rocket Girl Show, my weekly live stream show that airs every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. So come on in and let me know where you're coming in from. I would love to hear. We are streaming on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. And if you are watching us on YouTube, I'd love for you to click the subscribe button and ring that bell so you'll know every time we have a free training. And we have free trainings at least twice a week, sometimes considerably more. So I'm thrilled you're here. All right, so today we're going to talk about tips for setting up a routine. And, you know, the thing that's interesting about this is that for the majority of my life, I have had a routine, right? A routine as a student, you get up, you have breakfast, you get on the bus, you know, routine as an employee, whether that's been me driving or public transportation. You know, my routines have evolved over the years. And now I am a empty nester and you know, and a business owner. And so those are different routines as well. And most of my life, my routine was organized around different people, right? My employer, my child, different things that the school bus stop, you know, different things that I needed to do. And now it really evolves around me. And because of that, it's even more important to get concrete in what kind of routine is going to work best for you. Now, my morning routine now evolves around getting up, getting myself centered, and going out and feeding the chickens. And one of the reasons I love having those little chickens out in the backyard is that they need my attention first thing in the morning. And I like that. I like that as a helper. I like that there's something that has purpose that I need to go and take care of. And for me, that's them. Greg he has his own routine. This morning before he got up, I don't know what time he gets up way before me. But by the time I got up and was outside with the chickens, he had probably mowed 3 acres of lawn. You know, he's out there doing his thing. So, it's important that you decide ahead of time what your routine is going to be, because we were just talking in study hall a few minutes ago about puttering. I love to putter, right? I love to move from thing to thing and just sort of flit around and to have my day go that way. But that doesn't work for me Monday through Friday. That can definitely work on a Saturday and Sunday, but when it comes to Monday through Friday, when I'm billable and working, I need to make sure that my head is in the game and I have a routine. Now, routines are easily thrown off track when life doesn't go as planned. And I want to ask you, when does life go as planned? Hardly ever, right? So we need to learn to jump into our routine. And it's sort of like we're surfing the wave, right? We're sort of surfing the wave. As soon as we hit a bump, we can't just throw the whole thing away, because if we do, we'll never get where we want to go. So we have to put things in place. So for example, left to my own devices, I would not eat lunch. I would get to 2 o'clock. I would be hungry, not in a good mood, and I would probably eat potato chips while I was storming around the kitchen, trying to figure out why I don't feel good, because I have no energy. My stomach is probably growling, right? And I need food. So now we have a routine where Greg comes down at noon, and he's great at taking a break. He knocks once on my door. I say, be right out. We go out, we make lunch, we play backgammon. And, you know, it's funny because for years I felt like I didn't have time for that. I couldn't stop. But the truth is that I have more time when I live within my routine. Another thing that is on a non-negotiable for me, we're going to talk about these bullets in a minute, is my walk. So eating healthy food, taking care of the chickens, and going for a walk every day. So the way that I build my schedule is I put the non-negotiables first. So that is the chickens, eating healthy breakfast, and going for a walk. And then there's other things in my day that are non-negotiable as well. Like today, I'm going to the airport to pick up my mom, right? So that's a non-negotiable. That needs to be put into my routine for the day. Yeah, and Tony says alarms and times are a must. Absolutely. Every time we have the Rocket Girl Show, Lessons from the Cockpit, anything that's in my daily routine, 10 minutes before I get an alarm. And because I can pull anything together in 10 minutes, but if it's more than 10 minutes, I'll forget. So, yes, I absolutely have alarms on my phone, and I'm constantly checking my calendar. Before I go to have lunch at noon, I'll look at my calendar and say, okay, excuse me, where do I have to be next? Like, what's my next thing? Do I need to prepare for that? Am I ready? And then I move on. So you really have to, you have to think about what are the non-negotiables. And it's hard because, before I realized how important walking was every single day, the first thing that would go was the walk. Oh, I got to clean the guest room. Oh, I got to do laundry. Oh, and the thing is that it was not causing me to have it was causing me more stress to break the routine than to keep the routine. So definitely, definitely think about that. Now you need some supportive systems in place, right? And yes, you need some supportive systems. And what I want you to think about is ways that you can create success ahead of time. So here's an example. When I go to the grocery store on Sunday or whenever I go, I think about buying food for the next 3 or 4 days. Now that's a support system. That support system says that when I go into the kitchen today at noon, I'm going to have all the food that I need to create the meal that I want that's going to support my life. Same thing when I want to start writing a newsletter. I have a place where I jot down ideas so that, like this morning, when I was ready to start writing my newsletter, I wasn't starting from scratch. I thought, okay, what do I want to write about? I looked at some ideas that I had. I started with one, I ended up with something else, but I have a support system in place. The alarms that Tony was talking about, same thing, right? 10 minutes ago, before this live stream started, I was upstairs. I was grabbing some hangers to do some laundry things, and the alarm went off, and I was like, Rocket Girl Show, gotta go. Jumped right in. Because, for some of us, time is very elusive and we lose track of time. And so you have to put those support systems in place and decide ahead of time, what you're going to do. Now, another thing, for example, when it comes to writing an email newsletter is I have deadlines. I have firm deadlines, and because the newsletter needs to be read by the editor, and then it needs to be put in MailChimp, and it needs to be tested, and all these different things. It's that newsletter that goes out every Monday morning relies on 4 different people, right? Is that true? 1, 2, yeah, 4 different people before it can go out, and I don't want them to have to work on the weekend. I don't want to ask them to work on the weekend, so it has to all be done. The newsletter has to be written by the end of the day today for it to go out on Monday. So you have to back things up in your routine as well, right? So put support systems in place for whatever it is, whether that's, working in a room with a door, you can close the door, deciding ahead of time what you want to work on. But at the core of all of this is you have to be concrete about your commitments. If I say I'm going to walk 5 times a week, it doesn't happen because on Monday it'll be raining, on Tuesday, somebody will need me for something. And by Wednesday, I forgot that I'm even walking. So when you have non-negotiables like your walk, the question is never, will I do it? The question is, how am I going to do it? And when we were moving, it was not easy for me to schedule my walk for a number of reasons. So I have a treadmill. And sometimes I got to tell you, it was unreasonable, but at 9 o'clock at night, I'm on the treadmill. And that might seem insane, but you know what? When I went to bed, I felt so good that I had maintained my commitment to myself, that I had gotten the exercise, that I, that I made it happen. And that's a lot of what routines are as well, is putting things in place for you to be successful. Okay. Now, routines come and go, and life happens. It absolutely happens. And sometimes we need to veer from our routines. But what I want you to do is I want you to think ahead. I want you to think ahead when life happens, how are you going to handle it? Right? So here's an example. So my routine is to eat healthy food. Tomorrow I'm going to get in the car at about 4 o'clock. And so dinner's going to happen somewhere along that ride. So I need to think ahead of time. What am I going to eat? Right? What am I going to eat? And also in terms of, this weekend, I'll be at my daughter's graduation. So how will I keep up with my email inbox? How will I manage the community? How, all of these things that come up, and make decisions ahead of time that support their routine. And then what's going to happen on the other side of this trip so I can get back into my groove as quickly as possible. All very important. All right. Good. Routines are good. Sometimes people feel like, it's kind of like a budget. People feel like routines and budgets, they're very constraining, and they are limiting. But I have to tell you, they're not. When you decide ahead of time how your life is going to go and what's important and what you're going to put in it, you will be surprised how much more free you feel and how much more time you see that you have, because you've made decisions ahead of time. So give it a try. And one last thing, when I have a new routine, if it's not on my calendar, I write it down on a piece of paper. It gets it inside of me. I make the decisions, and and we have to shift as things change, because life changes all the time. All right, that's awesome. Good. I want to hear your routine, so put it in the comments below, and I'll circle back around. Now we are doing it again. We are having our 5-day free training called Kickstart Your VA Business. This is for people who are just thinking about being a VA. They don't even really know what it is exactly. They have no idea what services they're going to offer. And it's for people who've been virtual assistants for a while, and they are not where they want to be. They missed something along the way, and they want to try to figure it out. This is starting on May 13th. It's going to be at noon, and it's going to be a lot of fun. If you sign up, go over to vakickstart.com, sign up, and you will find a link to a Facebook page where we have lots of people joining. There's a lot of energy over there. There's a resources page, lots of things to get you started even before May 13th. But we're going to be starting in 11 days, and I can't wait. So scoot on over there and check it out. All right. So I am signing off. Rocket Girl, Belinda Sandor. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.